Hello everyone, welcome back to Hollywood. We are back again with our booster batch, that is free YouTube videos for NABARD Grade A 2023 exam. So for phase 1, we are starting with our ARD static lecture 2. We have already completed 30 to 40 questions in our first lecture, and now let's start our next whatever our session is on the same ARD static question. So let's begin. We will directly, rather than wasting our time, we will begin with our questions. The first question is, look at it very properly. In last class, we also understood what are the different tricks through which we can solve different questions. We saw a diverse variety of questions which are were of impeccable quality. Also, I kept it little bit easy. This time the topics are same, but the question difficulty will become little bit hard. Okay. Now, I will recommend you that this is a moderate level of question. In upcoming sessions, in mega marathons, you will see what the real number of questions would be and how difficult it would be to clear or to solve those questions. Let's start with our first question. Maybe half of the people would have read this question. Narmada Nidhi is an improved location specific variety of dash animal developed by a College of Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry, Nanaji Deshmukh Pashu Chikitsa Vigyan Vishwas Vidyalay, Nanaji Deshmukh Veterinary Science University, located in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. Now, this Narmada Nidhi which is there, this is a improved variety. Try to understand that it is a it is a improved variety. When we are talking about improved variety, it may be a hybrid variety, may be used by BT, that is biotechnology. Okay. So now options have been given. First it's quail, it is like a duck, rabbit, chicken, duck and turkey. Okay. So here almost four organisms are poultry and one is rabbit. Okay. Now if you see, if I try to look at this particular question, either you know it or you don't know it. You cannot pick the questions or options which are there. You cannot try your tricks. Okay, तुक्के वगैरह यहाँ पर मारना, please avoid that. मत मारना तुक्के वगैरह, कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. वो तुक्के वगैरह कब चल सकता है? If the question provides the enough options which could be eliminated from the questions. ये यहाँ पर नहीं हो सकता. इसका आंसर एक्चुअली में अगर आप देखते हो, it's actually chicken. So ये जो नर्मदा निधि ये है, ये एक improved special variety है चिकन की, that who has developed College of Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry, नानाजी देशमुख पशु चिकित्सा विज्ञान विश्व विद्यालय. So Nanaji Deshmukh Veterinary Science University. It's in Madhya Pradesh and it is a dual purpose chicken. Dual purpose in the sense chickens are used for two purposes. First are layers and second are broilers. When I talk about layers, these are nothing but egg laying, and broilers are specially grown for their meat. Do you understand this very carefully? So whatever chicken which you eat in the restaurant, if you are non-vegetarian, that comes from broiler. And if you are an vegetarian or maybe non-vegetarian, then those comes from layers. Now, breed development, if I talk about why this specific variety is important to us, because it is by crossing. So again, a NABARD descriptive question which was asked in phase 2 2022-2021, that is, what is crossbreeding and what are its advantages and disadvantages. So crossbreeding, overall breeding as a chapter becomes very important from NABARD's point of view. Here crossbreeding was done. What is crossbreeding? When the mating of the organisms to have desired species of particular characteristics, when this mating is done of two different breeds which are not related to each other, that breeding is called as crossbreeding. So Kadaknath, which is a native chicken variety which is totally black in color, not only outside but internal organs are also black. Why? Because of the excessive presence of melanin. Okay, Kadaknath. Okay, important variety from Madhya Pradesh, India. Now it is also found in various other states like Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, as well as Uttar Pradesh too. So now this variety with Jabalpur color or colored broiler. So they have crossed a Jabalpur variety and Kadaknath chicken to get a new variety, that is Narmada Nidhi. Now parental lines, if you see, Kadaknath local breed found in the Jabua area, Alirajur districts of Madhya Pradesh, and Jabalpur color breed chicken is a improved variety which is developed by Jabalpur University. So Jabalpur variety, again here the color, if you see Jabalpuri color, it is there. The breed has been developed in such a way that the terminal cross has 25% inheritance. That is, suppose A is your Kadaknath and B is your Jabalpur. You add them both to get your Narmada Nidhi. Then 25% characters will from A and 75% characters will be from B, that is Jabalpur. So inheritance of 25% from Kadaknath and remaining 75% from Jabalpur. So you can expect that this whatever Narmada Nidhi chicken variety is there, it will be not black in color, maybe Jabalpuri in color. Then which of the following is an Indian major carp? Now remember what I am trying to tell you. Generally carps, carps, snakeheads, catfish, these are some of the freshwater varieties. Considering that India has major river systems like Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, apart from that Kaveri, then Mahanadi, Krishna, etc., etc. As India is filled with such a rivers, you have to understand that Indian major carps which will be there, those would be automatically freshwater. Majorly they will be freshwater. So now let's try to find out. First is silver carp. There is grass carp, common carp, rohu and black carp. From this you will understand that in India two of the carps are very, very famous. First is Katla and second is rohu. The scientific name of Katla is Katla and rohu is Labio rohita. So when you consider this, the answer you may get, that is D, that is your rohu. Always remember, as I told you, Katla, rohu and mrigal, these are your very important major carps. These are major carps. And exotic carps, if I tell you, these are silver carp, grass carp and common carp. So Indian and exotic carps tables have been given. These Katla, rohu, mrigal are your Indian carps, whereas silver carp, grass carp and common carp are your exotic variety. What do you mean by exotic? Try to understand. Silver carp, grass carp, common carp, black carp, these origin from Eurasian region or Europe. These are very famous carps from Europe. The carp specific topic from fisheries is very, very important from NABARD point of view, because NABARD has asked this previous year question based on important Indian carp. So therefore you have to know which are exotic, that is out of India, and which are indigenous in the sense which are inside the India. This is very, very important. Now let's talk about these two tables. Understand Katla, rohu, mrigal. Feeding habitat, if I tell zooplankton. What is zooplankton? Whatever living animals are there, which are dependent on phytoplanktons, that is grasses in water, which are inside the water. So they are dependent on zooplankton. Rohu, where you see, it is omnivorous. It lives on grass also. It lives on other animals or fishes in water also. These, if you see mrigal, this is a detrivorous. That means what? Mrigal, it's dead material. So it eats dead material. It is neither zooplankton, dependent on zooplankton, or omnivorous. If you see Katla, it is a surface feeder. So Katla, if you see, it is on surface. Rohu, it's a column feeder. That means what? From surface to the bottom of the floor of the river, it can eat. And if you see mrigal, then it is a bottom feeder. It is always at the bottom, like sucker fish. Silver carp, grass carp and common carp, phytoplankton feeder, that means herbivorous. Grass carp again is herbivorous, living on the plants in water. And common carp, if you see, it is omnivorous also and detrivorous also. So in this way, here also you can, on the food habit, you can tell that where these fishes will be actually swimming. So for a fish which is totally dependent on phytoplanktons, that is whatever grasses which are floating on the water, such fish would be always on surface. So therefore, as Katla is also zooplankton, that is whatever animals or fishes which are at the surface, if Katla is eating that, then that's why it is a surface feeder. So in this way you can understand the fish, its feeding type and then its location in the water body. Then comes your third question. Complete harvesting of prawns can be carried out by draining the pond water through bag net and hand picking. So whatever prawns, whatever fishing is done, okay, or prawns culture which you say, in that a pond is selected, that pond is filled with water, and then that whatever water is there, after the growth of those prawns, these water is vacated from the land through bag net or hand picking. Average cultural period required for the growth, complete growth of prawns has been asked here, where they will grow almost 20 to 30 gram of size. And the answer, if you see, it has been given here: 120 days to 150 days, 80 to 100 days, 20 to 50 days, 200 to 250 days, and 150 to 200 days. According to me, I think that the days required for a complete growth of prawn, it is 120 to 150 days. And yes, that is your answer. A is the answer. Major districts in India which are doing prawn culture, it's Godavari Basin. Remember the name, Godavari Basin. That's your Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Now when I talk about overall growth, look at this: 120 to 150 days, so that overall their weight becomes 20 to 25 grams. Very easy question, but you have no chance of elimination here. Elimination, forget elimination. Either you know, you tick it. If you don't know, let's move forward. This is the only attitude or even practice you have to do. Other than that, when we are talking about, next question is based on intercropping. They have asked, I already told you, what is intercropping? Intercropping is nothing but plantation of two or different crops, two or more crops on a same field, but in fixed pattern, fixed arrangement. So it may be parallel, it may be strip, okay, it may be double, it may be triple. Is this type of cropping is intercropping. They have given separate combinations to you. First is tapioca. Tapioca is very, very famous in Kerala. It's a ground, it is a one type of root development. It is a type of root development crop which is into the ground and it grows into the ground. Then comes turmeric, again grows into the ground. Ginger again grows into the ground, and then comes banana. Now they are asking you, out of these four, which of these four crops can be planted in according to the intercropping, or can this four can be intercropped? And according to me, it could be intercropped. This is just my logic, okay? I think that yes, intercropping. Now why, I'll tell you. Tapioca is a trap crop, okay? Tapioca is a trap crop. So tapioca is always paired with a particular crop like cabbage, okay? Turmeric again is a trap crop. Ginger, if you see particularly, ginger is also always planted along with legumes, pulses, as well as other major cereals. And banana, if you see, it is a plantation crop which could be intercropped with any other plantation crop. So according to me, I just tried to apply my logic, and that's where I get all would be the answer. And yes, that is your answer. You could see here, whatever orchards are there, orchards in the sense where horticultural as well as plantation crops are planted, in which all these crops, tapioca, turmeric, ginger, banana, are planted. Those, if you see on the land, these are planted for almost major years. So they require a lot of years to grow, and that's why they could be planted in intercropping, such as tapioca, turmeric, ginger, banana, and some of the area adjacent to this can be also planted with other main crop, okay, which could be neither horticulture, neither plantation, but it could be done. So in this way, if you see, intercropping always gives benefits for the cultivation, irrigation, manuring, and overall cost of horticulture and plantation always increases because of the overall value of these whatever crops. Though the value of these crops is high in market, but yet overall intercropping of horticulture and plantation crops, it's an intensive, it requires more capital. So therefore, when you are using intercropping, it reduces your cost of cultivation, and that's where the logic comes. All is correct. Which of the following are advantages of pit method of planting sugarcane in drip irrigation? So pit method in the sense what? Nothing. Your ground is there, you plant the sugarcane, and there you create pits where you will provide the source of drip irrigation through which targeted water supply could be done right on time, on right amount, or at right location, okay? So in this way, what will happen? Higher cane yield. Yes, that's correct. Multi-rationing, it's possible. That is also correct. Suited in problematic soils, that is also correct. As we all know, sugarcane requires very rich either soil or either good irrigation. So if soil is of bad quality, not suitable for sugarcane, the only thing which we can do is that change the method of the plantation of sugarcane. Then more water saving, and this is very, very true, as drip irrigation is involved here. Now let us see what are the benefits of the pit method of irrigation planting. Okay, so pit, whatever pits are created in that sugarcane roots are there. Okay, here you do drip irrigation through addition of fertilizer. So when you add fertilizer plus irrigation, it is called as fertigation. It is called as fertigation, and therefore you could see that this particular advantages like higher cane yield, multi-rationing is possible. Okay, problematic soil, you can grow the crop, more water saving, maintenance become easy, less labor also could be applied, and higher net returns you will be getting as your input cost is decreasing. Okay, then let's move to the next question. Region spreads over Bundelkhand, Bagelkhand, Bhander and Malwa Plateau and Vindhyachal hills, which includes under which of the following ACZ, that is agroclimatic zone. ACZ, agroclimatic zone. A direct question from agroclimatic zone. This is a previous year question, not exactly, but from the topic. Agroclimatic zone has been asked in 2018, 2020. Both years the question was there. And similar question, they just gave you the areas and they asked you which is the agroclimatic zone. The answer here is central plateau and hill regions. From the name only, Bundelkhand Plateau, Bagelkhand Plateau, either your answer would be central plateau and hills or western plateau and hills. But western, you know that western plateau and hills, it's not of Bagelkhand, Bundelkhand, okay, Malwa Plateau. You should be knowing that. So A is the answer. Here it's totally logic. Zone 8 is your central plateau and hills region. If you observe, these are the locations which were mentioned in the question. That is exactly correct. Climate, if you see, I'm just one key word I will tell you. Climate in these plateaus is semi-arid. If you see the total summer temperature 7 to 24 degree, 26 to 40 degrees Celsius, and if you see the humid temperature is 7 degrees to 24 degrees Celsius. Overall rainfall, I will say that in arid region, what is the rainfall? It's below 100 actually. So you could see 50 to 100 centimeter. What crops could be grown here? If I tell you on plateaus, which are the crops which could be grown? The soils, as here you could observe, black, red, yellow, all types of soils are there. So therefore you could see that a mix of coarse grain and cereals, both. Cereals are also planted and coarse grain also. So millet, gram, barley, wheat, cotton, okay, these such type of crops could be grown. Apart from that, if you see in this region, water scarcity is there, therefore irrigational means become very, very important in this region. Let's move forward to the 7th question. Which of the following instrument is used to break hard pans and for the deep plowing 60 to 70 centimeter with less disturbance to the top layer? This is your soil top layer, upper part of your ground. Suppose there is any instrument through which you can break the subsurfacial area without disturbing the upper top layer of the soil, then which is that particular instrument? And the answer here is what is the answer? The answer here is chisel plow. If you see, chisel plow is used for breaking hard pans and deep plowing with less disturbance to the top layers. Okay, so subsoiling, what is subsoiling? Subsoiling is nothing but what you do is that again subsurfacial, whatever hard pan is there, you remove. But in chisel plow, if you see, you do not disturb the top layer, you keep the top layer as it is. Its body, if you see, it is thin and could be replaced by cutting edge which has minimum disturbance to the top layer. So rather than disturbing the top layer, you are trying to break the soil from inside, from the subsurface. This happens in your chisel plow. Chisel plow. So good question on agri engineering and mechanization, a difficult question to watch. It is a difficult question to watch. Let's move forward. Which of the following silkworm produces silk that are multi-voltine silk spun from open-ended cocoons? Now remember very, very carefully, there are various types of silkworm. First is Muga silkworm. Okay, then is Tassar silkworm. Then is Anthrace silkworm, Erie silkworm. So various types are there. Here you could see options have been given. Yes, mulberry silkworm is also one of the example. Right? So mulberry, tassar, Erie, oak tassar and Muga, which I told you. So these are various varieties of silkworm. When you look at it, many of these varieties are not open-ended but rather closed cocoons. But there is one silkworm, that is Eri, that is your open-ended cocoon. So that is your answer. And if you see Eri, Endi or Erendi, it's a multivoltine silk spun which comes from open-ended cocoons. So its cocoons are open-ended from both the sides. Other than that, ericulture is a household activity practiced for protein-rich pupae. Okay. Other than that, which are the regions in which eri cultivation is done? Northeastern states like Assam. It is also found in Bihar, West Bengal and Odisha. Okay, you got it? It's very, very clear. Other than that, what you can do is that options you can always research. What is mulberry silkworm? What is tussar silkworm, eri silkworm, oak tussar, muga, and you can try to compare all of these silk varieties. There have been very few questions related to ancillary activities in agriculture in NABARD phase 1. But I think now the time has come that they will ask such questions to you. Okay, so that's why already a question we are asking. That was a very difficult question if you observe. Then comes in vermicomposting. How much moisture content should be maintained for a vermi bed throughout the period to get a good quality vermicompost? If you see 10%, I don't think so. Vermicompost is a very enriched biofertilizer. That's why I think the percentage of moisture would be more than 50. Logical thing. 15 eliminated, 25 eliminated. Now 90% and 60%, I will go with 60% because that sounds more logical. And then if you see, yes, that is correct. 60% moisture should be maintained because 90%, maintaining 90% moisture, it would be very, very difficult. And it may also actually reduce the quality of overall vermicast and vermicompost because of extra microbial activity because of presence of excessive moisture. So 60% is well and good, which could be done by spraying or sprinkling the water on the vermi bed. Okay. Which one of the following is not a seed spice cultivated? Now here you can apply logic. This logic could be applied only if you know something about kitchen. So see how observations, if you observed your mom in kitchen, अपनी माँ को अगर आपने ऑब्जर्व किया है तो ये आप इसका आंसर दे पाओगे. क्या पूछा है? विच इज नॉट अ सीड स्पाइस. तो जो सीड स्पाइस दिखेगी उसको इलिमिनेट करेंगे. क्यूमिन, ये एक सीड स्पाइस है, इलिमिनेटेड. फेनेल, सीड स्पाइस. कोरिएंडर, कोरिएंडर की भी सीड्स होते हैं, पाउडर भी आती है. आई नो कोरिएंडर पाउडर भी आती है, कोरिएंडर ग्रीन्स भी आ जाता है जो ऊपर से हम धनिया डालते हैं, बट इसके सीड्स भी आते हैं. देयरफॉर आई एम इलिमिनेटिंग दैट. फेनुग्रीक, इसके भी सीड्स आते हैं फेनुग्रीक के. Therefore, I am eliminating cumin, fennel, coriander and fenugreek because I have seen in the kitchen they are in powdered form. But nutmeg, though it is a nut, okay, but it is not a seed. Okay, nutmeg is not a seed. Okay, just because it is a nut, you will think that it's a seed. It's a very confusing and very, very witty question. By reading just, you can apply the logic that nutmeg would be seed. No, it's not. Nutmeg is actually a tree spice. It is a fruit. Okay, so therefore it's a seed spice. Okay, now let's move forward. Which of the following statements are correct in anthrax? Anthrax is a very deadly disease in animal. Okay, now let us see the statements. Highly infectious and fatal disease in cattle caused by relatively large spore forming rectangular shaped bacterium called Bacillus anthracis. Correct. It's correct statement. It is because it is a bacterial disease, very deadly bacterial disease. Hoofed animals such as deer, cattle, goat, sheep are the main animals being affected by this disease. Generally, if you see, generally, whatever cattles and four-legged domesticated animals are there, okay, canines, those are always could be attacked by this bacterium and may have anthrax. So whatever canines are there, four-legged creatures, they have probability of anthrax. Sudden death often within 2 to 3 hours is normal and it's far most common sign. Always remember, anthrax as a disease, it is so deadly that in World War, anthrax was used as a bioweapon. Okay, only this much indication could have showed, or maybe you have got the idea how much deadly this disease is. आगे बढ़ते, the answer here is E. As I told you, all the statements are correct. 1, 2, 3. You could see here all the statements are given. It is because of Bacillus anthracis. Other than that, if you see, usually illness, if you see the illness in animals, you could see 3 to 7 days, but after that 3 to 7 days, within 2 to 3 hours, that animal may die. Other than that, all your cattle's four-legged creatures could be attacked by the spores of this particular bacteria. It causes acute mortality in ruminants. Ruminant in the sense whatever cattle are there, mortality happens. It's a very deadly disease related to bacteria. Symptoms, if you see, sudden death, you could see trembling, high temperature, fever you could see. Apart from that, collapsing, breathal, convulsions before death. Also, dead blood, if you see, you may not see the clots in such type of blood. If you see treatment, as you know, the treatment, if we all see, then early cases, early treatment of nothing but some of the medications such as antibiotics could be given to you. Generally, now the anthrax is not seen in cattle as much as it was early, but this is because of the prevention of the anthrax and use of antibiotics. But if generally such disease happens, the only solution is treatment. There is no such a specific solution for anthrax. Okay. Now, next question, which of the following is an SMS portal set up by government for farmers that empowers central and state government organizations in agriculture and allied sectors to give information of services to farmers related to agricultural practices, that you can follow this method, this technique, etc., etc. Krishi for you, Krishi Bhadi, then M Kisan, Pusa Krishi, and Krishi In. Now, out of this, all of this portal, you have to always remain updated with the current affairs which is happening in the agri sector. That is why I always tell that read agricultural current affairs weekly. So therefore, here you could see the answer, if we all see, it is C. Okay, it is C, M Kisan. So here the option have been given M Kisan. This is your answer. So it's a portal through which all whatever farmers are there, they can get enough information related to the whatever practices are there which will improve their agriculture. It is a SMS portal. So there, which has been said by our honorable president. What could be done on M Kisan is that it's an unstructured supplementary service data where interactive voice response system is there. SMS provision has been also provided, through which whatever stakeholders are there, they will receive broadcasted messages, as well as they can even put their queries on this SMS portal. Okay, so they will get constant updates from the government side. Then comes next question, a question on again MG Narega. Now, after so much of difficult questions, let's do a easy question on MG Narega. So here they are asking nothing but the overall assistance, financial assistance provided by central and state government and their ratio. And the ratio is, as we all know, 90:10%. So 2005 instituted, notified by central government, and the ratio, if you see, it's 90:10. After so much of difficult question, one easy question was expected. That's why we took this question. Now let's move forward. Again a difficult question. Agri clinics are envisaged to provide expert advices and services to farmer, okay, to improve their productivity of animals, their agricultural activity. Agri clinics provide support in which of the following sector? Soil health, yes. Cropping practice, yes. Plant protection, yes. Crop insurance, clinical service for animal feed fodder management, is it? Yes. And therefore the answer is also all of the above. Always remember, any such question comes, do not randomly give all of the above. You should know, for the matter of fact, what are the services which agri clinics provide. So here if you see, these are all the activities from soil health, crop practice, protection, insurance, post harvest technology, clinical service, prices of various crop, marketing, everything has been addressed in the agri clinics. Question number 15. According to the data released by Agricultural Ministry in December 2022, India's export of agriculture and allied commodities was expected to be estimated during the period of financial year 2022-2023 was 10.21 billion, 20.21 billion, 30.21 billion, 40.21 billion and 50.21 billion. Factual question, statistic question, very difficult question. I know you cannot actually write anything, you cannot give a fluke, you cannot just say कि अकड़ बकड़ बम्बे बो कर लिया और कोई भी आंसर इसमें तुक्का मार दिया. मत करना ऐसे. You will have more negative marks and you will not be able to clear the merit section. The answer here is C, I guess. It's 30.21 billion. Yes, it's correct. I guessed it right. India's export on agriculture and allied commodities rose 11.97%. Okay, so this is a very important fact, that the total export of what but agriculture as well as allied commodities, it's 30.21. It rose by 11.97% for the year of 2022-2023. Very important fact. Okay, let's move forward. The Pradhan Mantri Kisan Mandan Yojana, launched in 2019, it's central sector scheme to provide pensions to small and marginal farmer. Remember this word very, very carefully, small and marginal farmer, with the cultivable land up to dash dash hectares. So here the question is not on Pradhan Mantri Krishi Mandan Yojana. The question is asking that small and marginal farmers, tell us the definition of small and marginal farmer. So tell me, what is the definition of small and marginal farmer? So they are having areas which is less than 2 hectares. Agricultural land, every farmer which has agricultural land less than 2 hectares, that farmer is called as your small and marginal farmer, and therefore our answer is A. Yes, A is the answer. 3,000 pension, okay, per month you will be getting after attaining the age of 60 years. You can enter into this particular scheme at 18 to 40, and if you see overall, here the data has been not given, but small and medium farmers, it means that their total land is between 0 to 2 hectares. Okay, so 0 to 2 hectares. Okay, now let's move forward. A question on forestry. The production of woody perennial in the sense, woody trees in the sense, the trees which are having hard bark, okay, hard outer layer. Perennial matlab which grow more than 1 year, which requires more than 1 year to grow, with annuals and pastures, is referred as what? Silvopastoral, agri-silvopastoral, agri-silvicultural, temporal system, and none of these. Forestry is very, very important from phase 1 as well as phase 2. In phase 2, you can always expect one descriptive question from the forestry section. In phase 1, almost 1 to 2 questions on forestry as MCQs. The answer here is B. As you all know, it is agri-silvopastoral system, where woody perennial trees are combined with annuals and pastures. This word pasture, you should see that which are the options in which pasture has been written. Agri-silvocultural, eliminate. Temporal, eliminate. None of these, eliminate. Silvipastoral and agro-silvopastoral. Again, remember that here production of combined annuals in the sense your agriculture, perennial trees, and again pasture. So therefore agri-silvo means tree and pasture means pasture land, and therefore here is your answer, where you are doing cultivation of agriculture plus tree or forestry plus pastures. All these three combined gives you agro-silvipastoral. Now let's move forward. Which of the following statements are true with respect to characteristics of rural economy in India? A very, very generalistic question, okay? You have to understand here, and you cannot assume any of the statements. Agriculture is main economic activity in Indian rural economy. From employment generation, yes, that is true. First, it's correct. In case of rural economic, land is the primary means of production. That is true. Rural economy, land is the most important property. Per capita income is lower in the rural areas as compared to urban areas. Of course, yes, because agricultural activity does not give that much profitability as compared to the secondary and tertiary actions which happens in urban areas. समझा कुछ? एग्रीकल्चर जो आपके रूरल एरिया में होता है, उससे आपको पैसे तो मिलते हैं, एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन तो होता है, बट द टोटल सम प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी विच वी गेट, इट इज लेस देन द रूरल service activities like jobs, businesses. Okay, so therefore answer according to me is E, and that is correct statement. 1 is also correct, 2 is also correct, because land is made fertile by human labor. Land as is majorly involved in agricultural activity, it becomes the main means of production. And the rural urban divide, if you see, the major of the enriching or major profitable whatever occupational activities are there, those happen in urban areas as compared to the rural areas. Therefore per capita income of net value or net value added in urban areas, if you see, it is 98,435 as compared to rural area, it is 40,925, which is very less, almost twice. Okay, so it's twice, it is the whatever urban area total NVA added, net value added, it's twice of that rural area. See here, 98,000 and 40,000 comparison if you do. Next question, 21st question, if you see, dash dash is a nodal agency to promote marine products industry and promotion of marine products export from India. APEDA, MPEDA, BIS, Fisheries Development Board and NABARD. Now again, marine products, fish and fish products will be major in marine products, right? Eliminate APEDA because it's agri processing. Eliminate BIS, it's Bureau of Indian Standards, remove that. NABARD related to agriculture, financial development in agricultural and rural development. Remain we are with two options, fisheries and MPEDA. Now again remember, Fisheries Development Board, it is not related to marine products but only development of fishery sector. Therefore, see, you got logically your answer MPEDA. And here's your answer. The full form only is Marine Products Export and Development Authority. It was established in 1972. Okay, 1972 establishment for the export of marine products and its development. Okay, let's move forward. 22nd question. Which of the following is used to spread seeds and fertilizer on the field? Okay, field, you have to spread the fertilizer. Okay, first is thresher. No, it is used for harvesting of the crops. Rotary weeder, removing weeds from the crop. Areca sprayer. No, again. Castor sheller. No, to remove the shells of the crop. Broadcaster is used for broadcasting of the seed. Broadcasting of the seed. And generally broadcasting of seed is nothing but throwing the seeds in a random manner for the germination. So therefore broadcaster is used for broadcasting seeds and fertilizer. So simple, so logical. Okay. Again a question from agri engineering and mechanization. Which of the following is an indigenous dual purpose cattle breed? Again very important. Now remember, here very static question, you cannot do tukkabaji here, okay, again, but we can try to solve the answer again by logic if you have studied something. Knowledge should be there, through that knowledge we can come to the answer. See how. They have asked you dual purpose cattle. Dual means one which is famous for its milk and also one which is famous for its draft activity or field activity, all physic, all overall agricultural activity. Okay, such type of cattle are called as dual purpose cattle. If the cattle is not dual purpose, it is a milch cattle or it is a draft cattle. Okay, now let us see. Sahiwal. Sahiwal, previous year question, very famous for milk. Eliminate Sahiwal, it is a milch cattle. Red Sindhi, again famous for milk. Eliminate. Jersey, exotic cow whose milk is very nutritious and the lactation is almost 5,000 kgs or liters per lactation. So it gives a huge quantity of milk. If Jersey is giving huge quantity of milk, it's not a dual purpose, it's a milch animal. And yes, it is a milch breed only, exotic, rank second after Friesian Holstein. Friesian Holstein is that cow which you see on your milk packets, white and black color cow. After that, Jersey is very famous for the milk. Then comes none of these, which is again wrong, because Ongole from Andhra Pradesh, it is a very famous dual purpose cattle. It gives milk also, at the same time in drought prone condition, it is a very good draft cattle used for agricultural cultivation, for plowing, for picking as well as other activities. And that's your answer. Look at all the examples of your dual purpose cattle. So dual purpose cattle, apart from milk and draught breeds, milk breeds are nothing but milch animals which give milk. Draught are nothing but draught or draft which are used for physical activity in agriculture, and dual purpose which are used for both. Ongole, Haryana, Kankrej, Tharparkar, Krishna Valley, Rathi and Golo, Mewati, these are your dual purpose cattle. Which of the following committees is related to doubling farmers' income? You already know in India what was the year in which we had to achieve that? 2022. Have we achieved the doubling farmers' income objective? A question may come in descriptive answer writing. Okay. Now let's see this question. This aim of doubling farmers' income, which was the committee it was related to? Bibek Debroy, no, it is related to banking finance. Usha Thorat, banking finance. Ranbir Singh, not sure about. MB Lal committee, not sure about. Ashok Dalwai is the right answer. Ashok Dalwai was the committee which gave out first of its report, which aimed at doubling the farmer income till the year of 2022, which was given in 2016. Ashok Dalwai was the additional secretary of Union Ministry of Agriculture at that time, and that is why from that 2016-17 budget, doubling farmer income by 2022 became the main objective. Let's move forward to our 25th question. Last 5 questions to go. Lancing is a practice in the cultivation of what? Wheat, banana, tea, coconut and opium. Give the answer. It's a very difficult question and I know nobody could be solving this question. Lancing. What does lancing means? Generally, lancing means nothing but if your tree is there, then you cut the tree from between. So generally, whatever lac is produced, lac in the sense gum from the trees, gum, resin, which comes, extract which comes from the tree, okay, tree blood which we call, that process is lancing or lac creation, okay, not in wheat, not in banana, not in tea, not in coconut, it's done in opium. So in Indian opium poppy cultivation, lancing and collection of latex is done. If you see, whatever latex is there, it has 70% of total morphine in this opium plant, which is one type of drug. Lancing is nothing but if this is the stem of your plant, then longitudinally you will cut it in between. When you will give a longitudinal or circumferential cut, from that incision you will see that the lac or resin will come out, okay, so that liquidy material will come out, latex will come out, which could be later used for production of your opium or your morphine. Then comes 26th question, a very easy question, previous year question. Incubation period of chicken egg is 15 days, 60 days, 45 days, 21 days, 11 days. Generally look at here, minimum days are 21. Now what if 21 days was not there? Then the minimum days are 21 and maximum days are 30. So from any of the options, if it is 21 or 30, you can give either of the options answer. So you could see minimum is 20 to 21, which increases up to 30 days. Okay, that's it, nothing more we have to discuss here. Agricultural Technology Management Agency, ATMA, ATMA, is responsible for the technology dissemination, to share the technology, to add technology into the agriculture. So it works at which level? Does it work at national level, at state level, at district level, at village or at block level? Now if a person is there who has read agriculture and rural development properly, he knows that ATMA, the technological sharing, happens at basically field, at the ground level. So therefore the answer may be from these 3 options, district, block and village. But after that, it's all on your knowledge and how much depth you have prepared. The answer here is block level. Okay, the answer here is block level. So you could see here, especially it is at the block level. Why ATMA system is there? It is nothing but this is a concept of decentralizing the decision making at district level, such that this agency shares the technology at the ground level, starting from the block level. Then comes your 28th question. In general, whatever our soil pH is there, what is the optimum pH of soil where in that particular soil maximum nutrients are present in that soil? 6.5 to 7.5, 3.5 to 4.5, 8.5 to 9.5, 2.5 to 3.5 and 9.5 to 10.5. Always remember, soil, if you see the neutrality of the soil, it is always between 6 to 7. 6 to 7 or maybe 6 to 7.58. This is the neutral soil, because perfectly neutral soil right at 7, that's not possible. Okay, because soil is at the end, what is it? It's a mixture of heterogeneous materials. Okay, organic matter, minerals, compounds, mud, okay, other whatever stone and rock material is there, it's a mixture, and therefore a perfect 7 pH would not be available. Therefore here if you see, even if you try to assume that the normal good quality soil pH would be between 6 to 8, your answer comes A, and that's what your answer is. It is 8. which has a good potentiality of H plus ion. It may be either acidic or alkaline, but in very minor proportions, and therefore if you see that suitable pH is 6.5 to 7.5. Okay, in this pH 6.5 to 7.5, maximum availability of nutrients is available for any plant growth. Then comes your second last question: which of the following is a freshwater fish? Okay, first it's surmai. Surmai, which is this fish? Again, this is a marine fish, a very tasty fish, surmai. Okay, it is also called as kingfish. Okay, then comes ravas, then comes bangus, katla, and tarali. Okay, ravas is also not a freshwater, bangus is also not a freshwater, and tarali is also not a freshwater. If you observe here, I already told you rohu, katla, mrigal, these are freshwater. Therefore, answer here is D, katla, that is your katla, rohu, katla, mahasir, magur, vam. These are your freshwater fishes. Apart from that, if you see, whatever other fishes you will see, those will be marine. Generally, whatever large Indian carps are there, those are freshwater. Which are large Indian carps? Rohu, katla, mrigal, okay, snakeheads, okay. Apart from that, snakeheads, then catfishes. All these whatever are there, these are your carps. All these are your freshwater. Okay, majorly freshwater. So large whatever main Indian carps, freshwater. Just remember this logic. Examples already I have given you. Last question. Dash Dash is a portal that allows agricultural workers and other stakeholders to directly approach ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, with problems they face. That means what? If there are any problems, doubt and resolution has to be made, which is that portal? Bhuvan, E-Krishi Samvad, DD Kisan, M Kisan, Krishi Vigyan. Krishi Vigyan is for technology, DD Kisan is a television channel, M Kisan we already know, it is for understanding the various methodologies which are shared through a SMS portal system, and Bhuvan is again a other app. So the answer here is E-Krishi Samvad, and yes, E-Krishi Samvad is an grievance addressal or a doubt clearing portal which is attested to the ICAR. Okay, so with this we finish our lecture, and we will see you next time for our ARD lecture number 3. Thank you very much. See you next time.